We've got Truck Series silly season news to talk about, and defending Cup Series champion Chase Elliott is racing in not one, not two, but three marquee racing events this offseason. What is the rest of the competition doing? How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric and welcome to Out of the Groove. I hope you all are having a fantastic week. I won't have an episode up tomorrow unless something crazy happens and I'm able to get away from the dinner table for 10 minutes. So since I likely won't see you between now and Friday, I hope everyone watching has a very happy Thanksgiving. We've got a lot to talk about in today's episode. We're going to talk about a couple huge silly season moves taking place in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. We're going to talk about Chase Elliott, who continues to add to his off-season itinerary. But before we get started, I want to send best wishes to Morgan Shepherd and his entire family. Earlier this week, it was revealed that Morgan Shepherd was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. A few years ago, he set a record, becoming the oldest driver to race in a NASCAR Cup Series race. He didn't run any races last year, but the team is planning to compete in 2021. So again, I want to send all my thoughts to him. Morgan Shepherd is one of the greatest guys in the garage area. He's been around for a long time. Truly one of the greatest good people working in the sport today. So I want to wish him and his family the best. Now, before I talk about Chase Elliott, I want to cover some Truck Series news from this week. Yesterday, Ryan Truex announced that he will be racing full-time for Nice Motorsports in the 40 truck next year. He announced it in a very Ryan Truex way, but yes, Truex, who made 9 starts this year for Nice Motorsports, will go full-time with the team next year. A huge opportunity for him. Equipment-wise, it's important to remind everyone that Nice Motorsports is not the same team it was a couple years ago when Ross Chastain was winning races and contending for championships. Last year in 9 starts, Ryan Truex finished 12th a couple times. His average finish was 20th on the season, part-time basis, of course. So expectations, I think, should be realistic for all of the Nice Motorsports drivers next year. We already know Carson Hocevar is racing full-time for them as well. No word yet if Natalie Decker is going to return to the team, in what capacity. She, of course, has been dealing with health issues off the track. She recently had to miss a Trans Am race, I believe, after a positive COVID diagnosis. So I hope Natalie Decker is doing well. But yeah, still some questions around Nice Motorsports, but we now know Ryan Truex will race the 40 truck full-time. Good opportunity for him. We also talked earlier this week about Kyle Busch Motorsports' newest driver. They added John Hunter Nemechek to the team. We talked all about that on Monday. If you missed that episode, go check it out. A surprising move for the recent Cup Series rookie. But Nemechek effectively replaced Raphael Lessard, the 18-year-old Canadian driver who was a rookie this past season, won at Talladega late in the season. Earlier this morning, GMS Racing announced that Raphael Lessard would be driving for their team full-time in trucks next season. Well, technically, they only signed Lessard for 12 of the 22 races, but the hope is that he can find sponsorship to run the full schedule, fill out those last 10 races. So unclear exactly what's happening with that team, but now Raphael Lessard has a new home, a new manufacturer. Not a bad deal for Lessard, someone who I believe fell a bit short of expectations in 2020. Obviously a difficult year for any rookie to be jumping into any NASCAR series for the first time, but he missed the playoffs. He did get that win at Talladega late in the season, but he only had 7 top 10s in 23 races in KBM equipment. I consider that a bit of a disappointing season, but he's able to move over to GMS, a team that just won the Truck Series title this last year. And yes, it's a part-time deal, but there's always that possibility of it going full-time. So not a bad opportunity for Lessard, all things considered. Hopefully he's able to improve his on-track results from last year. Another bit of news I saw just before I started recording, but Mike Hillman Jr. has been hired by DGR Crossley Racing to become Hailie Deegan's new crew chief for next season as she makes her full-time debut in the NASCAR Truck Series. They got Mike Hillman from Kyle Busch Motorsports. This is the second Truck Series crew chief KBM has lost out to a rival manufacturer in the last few weeks. Remember, Rudy Fugle is joining Hendrick Motorsports next year. Mike Hillman Jr. is actually a 2-time Truck Series champion as a crew chief, working with Todd Bodine in the mid-2000s. So once again, Toyota is losing a veteran, an experienced crew chief to one of their rivals. This could be a huge pickup for Ford and for Hailie Deegan. We'll see how she does next year. But that, I believe, is it for this week. A lot of movement in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series this week, but I think we've hit a resting period. The Truck Series was super competitive this last season with some new teams joining. There were roughly 15, 16, 17 trucks, I felt like, on a weekly basis that could realistically contend for the win, and I think that's going to be similar next year as well. Pretty great news for the NASCAR Truck Series, so I look forward to watching them on track in 2021. Now, I want to talk about Chase Elliott. I know we've talked a lot about Chase Elliott in recent weeks, winning 3 of the last 5 races of the season, winning the NASCAR Cup Series title. Chase Elliott has done a lot of impressive things in recent weeks. But despite all of these wins, despite winning his first Cup title at only 24 years old, Chase Elliott this week continues to find new ways to impress me. Chase Elliott announced yesterday that he will be competing in the Chili Bowl Nationals in January. He's working with sponsor Dia Edge, I'm not sure how to say that exactly. He's set to compete in the Dia Edge Carolina Midget Showdown at Millbridge Speedway in the middle of December as sort of a tune-up race before he goes for the Chili Bowl in a month and a half. The Chili Bowl Nationals, even if you're not a dirt racing fan, you've likely at least heard of them. It's a marquee event. It's the same event that several years ago Kyle Larson said he'd rather win than the Daytona 500. That should tell you a little bit of how important this is to a lot of dirt fans out there. But now, the defending NASCAR Cup Series champion has entered his name in the event. Now, Chase Elliott is not a dirt racer. He does not have a whole lot of dirt racing experience in his background. That's part of why he's running the midget race here in a month, to sort of get accustomed to those cars before he tries to qualify and race in the Chili Bowl. Jeff Gluck, writing for The Athletic yesterday, put out a really good article explaining the background of how this deal came to be, and it offered some really good quotes from Chase Elliott explaining his mindset trying to race in the Chili Bowl, a type of racing, a type of car that he has little to no experience in. It's a big thing for me not to go in with no experience. I wanted to go race somewhere else before I just showed up in Tulsa. That's what Chase Elliott said. He also said, I think I'm still going to embarrass myself because it's a completely new skill set for me that I don't know. He talked about how difficult it is to run well at the Chili Bowl. He says, anybody who thinks you're going to show up there and have a shot at the A-main on your first stab is stupid. I respect it from the outside looking in and realize how much time and effort you have to put in to be good. And this is again all from that Jeff Gluck article writing for The Athletic. As time goes on in all aspects of racing, being diverse behind the wheel is going to be a good thing. And so this is what I mean when I say Chase Elliott continues to impress me. The dude won 5 races this year plus the All-Stars. He won a championship, a Cup Series championship at just 24 years old, and yet he's still finding ways to impress me. Because you hear those quotes. Chase Elliott is not just sitting back and taking it easy this offseason. Sure, he just reached the pinnacle. He just attained the goal just a couple weeks ago that he set out to achieve when he started racing many, many years ago. But despite being at the top of his discipline right now, he's not passing up opportunities to get better, to learn other types of racing, to, as he says in that last quote there, diversify his driving ability. Now I had to look this up, but Chase Elliott apparently last raced on dirt about 6 or 7 years ago in a dirt late model, which drives completely different from a dirt midget car. He has tested a midget car before, I think with Chase Briscoe a couple years back, but this event at Millbridge Speedway in North Carolina in a couple weeks will be his first race in one of these types of cars ever, from what I can tell. And of course the Chili Bowl Nationals in January 11th through 16th to be specific, is going to be a steep challenge, going up against, again, some of the best, the best dirt racers in the world in a lot of cases. I mean, you look at some of the winners in recent years. Kyle Larson won the event last year, or this year in 2020. Before that, Christopher Bell won 3 straight. A lot of great dirt racers have won this event. Sammy Swindell, Kevin Swindell have won it a bunch of times. Tony Stewart, I think's won it a couple times as well. 2 times, according to Wikipedia. I knew he'd won it before, but yeah, so a lot of great dirt racers, a lot of great all-around race car drivers have won this event. It's an extremely prestigious event, so I don't think anyone's expecting Chase Elliott to go win. If he wins that race, oh my god, we got like a god on our hands. But it'd be cool if he ran well and just, like you said earlier, just doesn't embarrass himself. I'd be impressed. Now, this announcement that Chase Elliott's going to run the Chili Bowl is only the latest example of Chase Elliott stepping into a new vehicle, making the most of this offseason when he's not week to week bombarded with his NASCAR duties. Elliott announced just a couple weeks ago that he's going to compete in the Snowball Derby super late model race in Pensacola, Florida, an extremely prestigious super late model race. Other drivers already on the entry list. I just looked at the website. Grant Enfinger, Chandler Smith, Carson Hocevar, Derek Kraus, Ty Majeski, Bubba Pollard. There's Travis Braden, who won last year, and Ross Kenseth is racing in this. Ross Kenseth is getting back behind the wheel from time to time. So there you go, Kenseth is racing. Chase Elliott's won the Snowball Derby a couple times, and in 2011, I believe he became the youngest winner in Snowball Derby history. So this isn't an entirely new discipline or a new style of racing to him, but it's again a way to keep his skills sharp. It's asphalt racing, short track racing, big horsepower, beating and banging. You look at some of the recent winners of this race. Eric Jones won back-to-back in 2012 and 2013. Kyle Busch has won it a couple times, most recently in 2017. Noah Gragson won in 2018, so it's an extremely prestigious event. NASCAR veterans, NASCAR stars are often known to make the trip down to Florida for this event in the winter. So Chase Elliott running that is yet another example of him, again, not sitting by and just passing the time this offseason. He's going out and racing. He's going out to the racetrack and continuing to get seat time and gain experience. And the examples don't stop there. Chase Elliott, if you remember, just after, minutes after winning his championship at Phoenix, he revealed he's planning to run the Rolex 24 at the end of January. IMSA race, sports cars, road course racing, he's going to be competing in that. He has not reported an official agreement or a deal with a team or anything yet, but he's Chase freaking Elliott. I'm sure if he wants to race in that race, someone will open up a seat for him. With drivers saying that the new next-gen car sort of races like a sports car on road courses, no surprise that Chase Elliott would want to get some sports car seat time. Chase Elliott is not taking any long breaks. In less than 2 weeks, Snowball Derby. Week after that, Millbridge Speedway. He'll take some time off for Christmas, but second week of January, Chili Bowl. Couple weeks after that, Rolex 24. Week after that, Busch Clash. And the NASCAR season is in full swing. So Chase Elliott is not sitting idly by and letting these days, these weeks go to waste. He is continuing to hone his driving skill. This is something that I wish more drivers would do. Chase Elliott is the defending Cup Series champion. By that logic, he doesn't need to get any better. He is the best right now. Everyone's chasing him. We all know that's not how racing works. There's a lot of really good drivers that Chase Elliott's gonna have a hard time beating next year. We know that. But Chase Elliott is young. He's the most popular driver in the sport. He's one of the closest things we have to a modern day NASCAR superstar, and yet he's still cutting his teeth on short tracks around the country during the offseason. NASCAR has a notoriously short offseason. All year long, drivers are known to gripe about, man, we only get 2-3 months for the offseason. This year's a grind, you know, that kind of thing. Chase Elliott said, to heck with that grind. My grind's going 365 days a year. That impresses me. I see a lot of Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott because Kyle Busch is the same way. I mean, I've seen Kyle Busch entered into a bunch of iRacing events in recent weeks. He maybe isn't always at the track driving a real car, but he's on iRacing. He's racing against top iRacers and sim racers as well. So Kyle Busch has always been this way as well. Kyle Busch, he'll run all the Xfinity races if he can. He'll run all the truck races if he can. He's, like I said, run the Snowball Derby, for example, in recent years. And that's why I think he's one of the best drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series, if not the best drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series today. And Chase Elliott is right on his heels. Chase Elliott's right there with him, and I see a lot of Kyle Busch in Chase Elliott. The good parts of Kyle Busch, not some of the early career shenanigans Kyle Busch is known for, but the good things about Kyle Busch. The fact that he can drive anything, and he will drive anything, and he will exceed when it comes to driving anything. I see a lot of that in Chase Elliott as well. So I have a tremendous amount of respect, and I'm extremely impressed by what Chase Elliott is doing this offseason. And this is important for a number of other reasons as well, besides just, you know, continuing to stay fresh, stay loose. You know, this is great that Chase Elliott is continuing to race at local short tracks. There's a connection to his roots that's still very much alive, that Chase Elliott is fostering. That's really important. By running these events, he's keeping contact with hardcore grassroots racing fans, and that's important as well. I really loved, after his Phoenix championship, when Chase Elliott took the car to Dawsonville, Georgia, was doing burnouts in the street in his hometown. Like, that was really cool to see all the local fans come out to support him and cheer him on. That was really cool. That's something you don't see from NASCAR that much these days. NASCAR has gotten more big time. You know, when NASCAR cars do burnouts on city streets, it's in Las Vegas. You know, it's not in Dawsonville, Georgia. That's how NASCAR has sort of shifted in the last 20 years. It's cool to see Chase Elliott, though, going back to his roots and maintaining that connection with hardcore racing fans in those towns and those areas. But the other reason this is all important, and again, this is more specifically to Chase Elliott, but he's learning new disciplines. NASCAR added a dirt race to the Cup Series schedule this year. There are a lot of Cup Series drivers that have little to no experience racing anything on dirt that I know have their eyes wide open and are terrified of that Bristol date in March. Chase Elliott likely is one of those drivers. Like I said, he hasn't raced a dirt race in 6 or 7 years roughly. He has very little dirt racing experience. So what's he doing this offseason? He's entered into 2 major dirt events. I mean, I respect that. Chase Elliott could easily just accept that he's going to run 25th at Bristol. You know, this isn't my style of racing. There's only one on the schedule. I'll just take it easy. I'm going to win one of these races anyways and lock into the playoffs. This race doesn't matter. He could easily do that. He's the defending series champion. He's the most popular driver in the sport. But no, Chase Elliott is running the Chili Bowl. He's running at Millbridge. He's running all these other races this offseason, partially because I think he just wants to. I think he just wants to race in the Chili Bowl because it's a huge, prestigious event. It's a super awesome show that I'm sure he just wants to be a part of. But there has to be at least some of his mindset there that's, hey, this is some chance to get seat time on dirt, something I don't have a whole lot of experience with, before Bristol in a few months. NASCAR continues to add road courses to the schedule. Chase Elliott's already really good at road courses, but you can always get better. So he's running the Rolex 24. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for what Chase Elliott is doing, and I think he's going about all of this in the best way possible. He's going to be great. Chase Elliott is primed and ready to lead NASCAR throughout the next 2 decades, and I think he's going to win a ton of races. He's going to win more championships. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I would not be shocked if in 20 or so years, when Chase Elliott is near or at the end of his career, I would not be shocked if we're having conversations about Chase Elliott maybe being in the Mount Rushmore conversation. I know it's extremely early and I have no legs to stand on, but from what I've seen so far, Chase Elliott is really, really good, and he's likely always going to have funding. He's likely always going to be in a super competitive ride. Chase Elliott's going to win dozens more races, and he's likely going to win multiple championships. championship. So brace yourselves, y'all. That conversation is coming here in 15, 20 years. Just brace yourselves for it now. Super impressed with what Chase Elliott is doing. I really just wanted to spend this episode to gush about Chase Elliott because all I'm sitting here thinking is, what are all the other drivers doing? I know there's a lot of drivers out there that don't have any dirt experience. I know there's a lot of Cup guys out there that could use some road course help. Why is everybody just sitting by? I understand rides aren't easy to come by. Chase Elliott has connections to sponsors. You know, he can get a ride anywhere because he's Chase Elliott. I understand it's easier for Chase Elliott than it is for other drivers, but there's some pretty big name drivers out there that I think should be itching to get some more seat time before Daytona rolls around, before Bristol, before some of these new road courses roll around. And I just don't see a lot of drivers making that effort. I mean, fair enough. It's the offseason. You can treat it like the offseason. NASCAR drivers get a short offseason. I'm not holding it against them. I'm not saying you have to work every day over the entire year. But when someone like Chase Elliott clearly goes above and beyond, I'm going to give him props for it. And I think he's going to see a competitive advantage as a result this next season. But just wanted to talk about Chase Elliott's plans because I'm really impressed with his offseason schedule. That's all I've really got to talk about in today's episode. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any more NASCAR videos and NASCAR content on this channel. We've got plenty more to come throughout the offseason. As always, a big thank you to my fantastic Patreon supporters. I could not do this show without your tremendous support each and every month. Since I likely won't see you until at least Friday, I hope you all have a very happy Thanksgiving and a great rest of your week. I will see you all very, very soon. Take care, everyone.